great honor to have you, Tom, with me today.
Well, it's great to be here, Leonard.
And the goal is to talk a little about the tackle that we have in front of us, and I leave it up to you what we start with.
Okay. Why don't we start with a big one?
Yeah.
So these are some of my favorite rods.
Yeah.
I have a lot of favorites, and honestly, I don't get terribly emotionally involved with tackle.
Yep.
Because I work for Orvis.
Yep.
And my best fishing buddy is the rod designer. So we're always testing the newest rod.
Yep.
And they do get better each time. So I don't, some people have a favorite rod that they develop a passion for.
Yep.
And, I'll like them for a couple of years. And something new, something new and better will come along.
Yeah.
And I'll say, well, next, because they do get better with each iteration.
Yeah. And when you say they do get better, is that for sort of the mainstream angler, or would you even say you fish better with a rod that is newer than an older?
Yeah, they get lighter.
Yep.
They get stronger.
Yeah.
So that's not so important in fishing, but it is, over a day of fishing. If you get a rod with a clouser, whacking a tree, they're stronger.
Yeah.
But they're more accurate.
Got it.
That's the main thing I see in various iterations as the rods go through, that the rods have gotten more accurate. They track better. They put the line where you point the finger.
Yeah.
And they're just more pleasant to cast.
Got it. And would you say most of the rods in your lineup are aimed at sort of the average angler, or let's say I'm picking up a Helios, I should only be fishing it if I'm somewhat of an advanced flex?
No, I don't think there's any difference. Honestly, it's more about what you can afford to buy. You're going to get a little bit better performance with a Helios rod than you would with, say, a Clearwater. It's going to be a little bit better.
Yeah.
But if you, as a novice, you can pick up a Helios and you will cast better.
Okay.
Because it tracks better.
Yep.
And you can feel it better.
Yeah.
So they're not designed for any particular level. Of skill. It's really about what you want to pay for your rod.
Has it happened to you though? Because from my experience, every once in a while I pick up a rod that is somewhat cheap, and I'm surprised at how well it casts. Have you had that?
Some of the inexpensive rods are pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I mean, we make most of our rods right here in Vermont.
Yeah.
We make the Helios and the Recon and the bamboo rods and the fiberglass rods here.
Yeah.
But we do import Clearwater and a very entry-level streamline rod from China.
Yep.
Because we got to hit a price point. You can't do it with American labor.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Yeah.
And plus, we're using more high-end components in the rods we make. I mean, the reel seats are made here in New Hampshire. The reels are made in New Hampshire.
Got it.
But they're damn good.
Yeah.
They're really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can feel the difference between a Helios and a Clearwater.
Yeah,
but
I could see that.
Yeah.
What are we looking at the big stick?
So this is a 9-foot for a 9 weight. And I think I love saltwater fly fishing.
Yep.
And I do a fair amount of it whenever I can. Get down to the coast and fish for striped bass, bluefish, false albacore, or I might go to the Bahamas or Mexico or Belize. And if we're only going to take one rod in saltwater, it'd be a 9 weight.
I was going to ask, it's sort of like the gold standard in a way.
Yeah, right? I can catch small tarpon on it.
Yeah.
I can catch anything up to maybe 80-pound, maybe 50-pound tarpon on this rod.
Yeah.
Snook, redfish. And if I need a little more delicacy for bone fishing, I prefer an 8, but I can put a longer leader on this 9 weight, get a little bit more delicacy, and still fish for bonefish with it. So the 9 weight is my go-to rod for saltwater.
Got it. And I see a Helios D and a Helios F. What's the difference between the two?
Okay, so the D models are a little faster and a little stiffer in the butt. They have a little more lifting power.
Yep.
They also, wind, in a strong wind, are going to cast a little bit better.
Yep.
A little tighter loop, so you get more energy. But for trout fishing, I prefer the F models.
Yep.
Because they're a little bit more full flexing, a little bit more of a progressive taper.
Yeah.
And I like a rod that bends. I like to feel a rod cast.
Yeah.
Because fly casting is a beautiful thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll enjoy doing it. And I just feel a little bit more with the
Got it.
model.
When you say progressive taper, is that sort of more of a medium fast action?
Yeah, I would say medium fast.
Yeah. I'm a bit like that when it comes to fly lines as well. I feel like, back in the days, a lot of people used to fish double taper. Nowadays, a lot of fly lines is weight forward, which I think makes sense, for certain situations or for beginners. But talking about delicate presentations, sometimes think the double taper gives you more.
Well, it does. If you're going to hold more line in the air, false casting, or if you're doing a lot of roll casting, double taper is better. Actually, double taper weight forward in the same configuration, let's say basic trout line, are going to be the same for the first 30 to 35 feet. They're going to be exactly the same. So for short casts, doesn't matter.
Right.
Longer casts, weight forward will shoot more line, so you can get real distance, but double taper will hold more line in the air for a longer false cast. And man, I think double taper mends better and roll cast better. So
got it.
Yeah,
got it. What kind of reel do we have on?
Okay, so these are all Mirage. These two are Mirage reels. So this is my trout. This is my go-to favorite trout rod right now.
And
it's a 9-foot 4-weight.
Okay.
So I like a 4. Most people
would use a 5-weight.
Use a 5. And if I'm going to streamer fish or fish big nymphs, I might grab a 5. But for dry fly fishing, smaller nymphs, dry dropper, I really like a 4. A little more delicate.
I agree.
And
9 feet, you would say, is sort of the way to go as well there?
For most rivers, for most medium to large rivers,
When would you go to a shorter rod, for example?
Small streams, small mountain streams.
A little less room to maneuver in a way, right?
A little less room to maneuver, and it's just nice. This is actually a brand new Superfine. This is 7.5 for a 3-weight.
Oh yeah.
This is my current favorite small stream rod. It's just nice to have a smaller, shorter rod and small stream. This rod really bends. It'll throw just a leader. It's very full flexing, which I like in small streams. Roll cast better. Quick false cast or quick cast with a lot of false cast. A little trout will put a bend in this. 8-inch trout will put a nice bend in this. So it's fun.
Do you sometimes go further down than 3-weight, like even 1 or 2-weight?
Yeah, we have a new coming out January 2025. I'm not sure when this is going to run, but January 2025. There's a new Superfine in a 1-weight.
Oh wow!
And in my backyard, I have a little stream where it has a pretty good trico mayfly hatch, a little tiny mayfly that hatches in August. And I took the 1-weight out with 7X and relatively small trout and size 24 dries and had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I have a friend from Switzerland who builds rods himself, and he fishes 0-weights in like Swiss mountain streams. He always says that, on a 0-weight, obviously a small trout feels like a decent fish.
It does,
It sort of gives you the experience of, I don't know, fishing with a 5-weight for a normal sized trout. You can still have a lot of fun.
Yeah, you just put it in perspective.
And I think I saw a little CFO reel on that one, right?
Yeah, these are all made in the same shop in New Hampshire, about an hour away.
The
CFO was originally made by Hardy in England.
I have one that was made in Argentina, even, I think.
It wasn't a CFO. It was a what did we call it? I forgot what.
I really like it.
Yeah, it was made in Argentina.
It's very sturdy and great sound.
So the original one was made in England.
It was made by Hardy.
It was designed by Stan Bogdan and Lee Wolf. And then it went to China, which was not one of my favorite things that Orvis did. But we now brought it back, and it's made in New Hampshire, same place where the Mirage reels are made.
Okay. Is that an Orvis site in New Hampshire?
It's not owned by Orvis, but it's a company, a machine shop that was that a gentleman built just for making Orvis reels and reel seats and sips and pliers.
Got it. And the white parts of the rods that I see in all of them, do they have a design aspect to it, or is it just that it looks so that people recognize that it's an Orvis rod?
Well, that's a good question, Leonard. Sean Combs, the rod designer, is very much into the mountain bike industry and the skiing industry, and he said, "You know what? We need a little more in your face in Orvis rods." And so he put the white label on the rods, and a lot of people hate it.
Huh.
Traditional people just hated it.
I could see that.
And but you know what? When I'm looking at a video or see a photograph, I know it's a Helios.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And so as a marketer, it's wonderful.
Yeah. Don't you also have like all white rods that you use in your teaching videos?
Oh, those are just made for Pete Kutzer to do casting instruction.
Got it. Yeah. Because you can see them better probably on it.
Yeah, they just paint them white in the rod shop.
Got it.
For him. Yeah.
Got it. Very nice. So there is one more rod that we have on the table.
Yes.
Which looks a little different.
Yes, we have a bamboo rod, and I love bamboo.
Yeah.
I love bamboo.
Do you still fish it today?
I do.
Yeah.
I do fish bamboo quite a bit in the summertime in the small streams.
Yeah.
And, it's different. It feels alive, more organic.
Yeah.
Of course, it's a natural product.
Yeah.
This rod was made by one person, except for the windings on the guides, which are done by our very best winder.
Yeah.
But he makes the whole rod. So it's one person. Whereas in a graphite rod, I think there's like 32 different hands that touch a graphite rod in the shop. Still a lot of hand labor.
Yeah.
But bamboo is just very special.
Yeah.
You look at them, they're beautiful.
I agree.
You admire it.
Yeah.
They flex differently than a graphite rod.
Slower again, right?
And lower, yeah. And I just enjoy them.
Yeah.
Honestly, don't enjoy fiberglass rods that much. I think I outgrew fiberglass when I was a kid.
Uh-huh. And even the modern ones you don't like too much?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
No, I mean, a lot of people love them.
Yeah.
A lot of people love
I know they have their audience that like it.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely. Yeah, and they're great rods. If I'm going to fish a light rod, I'll either fish a Superfine graphite or bamboo.
Right. Although I understand, I feel like with fiberglass, you either hate it or love it. I
think so.
I don't know too many people who fish it every once in a while. They either like glass people or they don't like it.
And
too much.
people love it and they have a lot of fun with fiberglass rods. And so, that's great. That's great. If they like it, good for them.
Yeah. What I like about this bamboo also is the fact that it's only a 2-piece, which I think is a traditional way of making rods as well. I know those old salmon rods that are, 2-3-piece, but I don't know what they are, 5-6 feet long even.
Yeah, they're heavy too.
Yeah, they're very heavy.
Yeah.
I have a friend who still fishes them to the day, and even for salmon.
Yeah.
It's a heavy setup. But like you're saying, I feel like for a lot of people that are not used to it, if they were to fish it all day long, it's straining, right?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
Yeah. What length is this one?
This one is 7 foot for a 4-weight.
7 foot for a 4-weight.
Yep. And we have a new, I don't have one here because it's back in the shop. The rod maker wanted to take some measurements off.
Yeah.
We have a new 3-weight, 7.5 for a 3 bamboo rod that I also love on small stream.
Yeah. Do you also sometimes at Orvis think about bringing back old rods that used to be popular back in the days and revive them, or is that never?
Nah.
No? Because they just wouldn't fit into today's market, or?
They're not as good.
Okay.
They honestly get better with each generation.
Yeah.
And, to bring back an old graphite rod.
Yeah.
Even the bamboo rods are better tapers, I think, these days. So, they're fine. They're fine fishing tools, some of the older rods. But to bring them back.
Yeah. And what sort of reel would you fish with the bamboo rod?
I use my CFO on bamboo. I mean, you have to. You fish a bamboo rod, it has to have a CFO on it.
I have this one friend who always tells me that with the bamboo rod, you should still be fishing silk lines that some manufacturers still make.
Yeah.
Have you ever used one of those?
No.
Yeah.
I actually cast one, and it was fine, but the maintenance and it's just But I would fish with a silk line, but I'm not that much of a traditionalist.
Yeah, I see.
Modern fly lines are so good.
Yeah. And talking about maintenance, I was going to ask, do you take care in any particular way of your rod and reels, or you just, you fish them and use them as the tools that they are?
I fish them and throw them in the back of my truck.
Yeah.
And there they sit.
Yeah.
You don't need much, as long as you don't break a section.
Yeah.
You don't need to do anything to a fiberglass rod, even bamboo. I wouldn't put them away wet.
Yep.
But other than that, the bamboo, the glues that are used in bamboo these days, it doesn't have to be varnished, and it's impervious to water, and you really don't you really don't need to do anything. I do take better care of my bamboo rods. You notice I brought the graphite rods in just their sacks, which is how I travel with the bamboo rod. I keep it in aluminum.
Someone once told me that you shouldn't store them, I think, standing up. Is that true, or?
I'm not sure. I always was taught that you store them standing straight up, not leaning.
Yeah.
But I think straight up or maybe straight down is okay. But, bamboo can take a set.
Got it.
It can develop a permanent curve to it, a set, which can be taken out very easily with heat. The rod maker, our rod maker actually does it with his fingers. He just warms it up, does it. But graphite rods, I leaned a graphite rod. I put a graphite rod together with an older rod. I leaned it against my garage. Yeah. I left it there for 3 years in the snow, in the heat, 90-degree heat to 20 below zero. And every year I'd pick it up and I'd put it together. It was straight as an arrow. Yeah. I mean, the cork got a little bleached.
Right. I like that, though. I feel like, they have a little bit of cutting.
But that was it. Graphite rods are...
Yeah. And the reels, do you take care in a special way?
No.
Not either.
You're supposed to clean them. Yeah. And if I were paying money out of my own pocket to get a reel, I would probably clean it after every use in saltwater.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But I don't, and I don't have any problems with them. Yeah. I mean, they're sealed drags.
Right.
It doesn't...
Yeah. And like I said, I think with the gear, it's a bit like with cars for me, I feel like they're meant to be used. If you're always worried about getting a little scratch or whatever, or a ding on your reel, it takes away from the pleasure in my eyes.
Yeah.
I like it if a reel, for example, like this CFO has a little bit of... wear and tear, because it's about the stories that it's...
it's got a couple dings on it there. Again, I'm not that careful.
Yeah. Very nice. Okay, I think we've covered them all, learned about the differences. And if you were to go to a small stream, would you rather pick the fiberglass or the bamboo?
You mean the graphite or the...
the graphite, yeah.
It would be a toss-up. It would depend on what kind of mood I'm in.
Got it.
Because I love both of them. Yeah. I love both of them in small stream. And
could you fish the two of them with the same line?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Okay. So depending on the day, you can bring them both and then...
Yeah.
See what...
And I do that. I do that often. I was like, I feel like fishing bamboo.
All right.
Fish bamboo.
Well, great, Tom. Thank you very much for this insight. And... I hope you guys took something away from it. Bamboo for the traditionalists, but with modern performance. And the Helios as great trout rods.
And the new Superfine as a slower...
Small stream.
Yeah, small stream rod.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Leonard.